YouTube, what's good with y'all, man? It's your boy Justice coming at y'all with another YouTube read, another collective energy read. Let's go and jump right into it. Appreciate all your likes, comments, shares, and subscribes. Angels of the highest of white light, Most High, please bestow upon me clear and concise channel messages that accommodate with the general I have ready for everybody else. Thank you, and Ashe. However, I'm tapping into, you have people in higher places watching you, whether that's good or bad. There's something about a lot of you guys can peek beyond this firmament or some type of firmament hold, and I'm going to go into this, but there's something about you defying limitation or defying certain standards of generational limitation or defying some type of standard of generational curses, karma, something of that, right? So when I'm saying the firmament, right, I'm speaking of this spiritual kind of holding space that this matrix system kind of aligns people with, in terms to keep you in the same steadfast alignment with people that are not on a high vibration, because they're supposed to be minimalized in the awareness that they can serve other people's or other beings, entities, agendas, or intentions, right? Whatever that is, right? The firmament kind of is withheld by a certain systematic kind of governing that tells you can do this, you can't do this, right? And so there's something about, a lot of you guys understand the multidimensionality of your own character, your own basis of your soul, in a way that almost feels like a lot of you guys can relate to this. It almost feels like you can't transcend this energy into the 3D, right? It's a little difficult. And that's because it's a really dense 3D population that we live in. But it's not about the population. A lot of you guys understand this. A lot of you guys understand that it's an accumulation of what's being fed to the population. And so this kind of like stress survival mode kind of it densifies and it intensifies what's holding a contaminant field for your energy not to flow in so easily. And so a lot of you guys do certain practices, whether that's listening to frequencies, and that could be a precaution for other people, meditative frequencies, or using sound bowls, or, you know, being in meditation in general and getting into your oneness connection with source is very, very like unifying in a way that you can unify your center and be centered in a way. A lot of people find it through musical creation or expression, artistic expression. A lot of people do this through workouts. A lot of people do this by going to work, right? Some people do that on a mental level. Everything is mental, but it can just differentiate for a lot of different people. I just named the popular expressional outlets, right? But a lot of you guys peak beyond a firmament in terms of your vibrational level and not being able to be kind of withheld into a low vibration because of either what you know to do, or what you do, right? And so a lot of times there's something that's trying to limit you, right? It feels as such because there is, right? There's a firmament limitation in terms of what's not gratifying off of you. When you're in a higher vibration outside of the chakra systems, the human chakra systems that most people are kind of bound to. If you are new here, there's a recent video I talked about the chakra systems and I explained it in depth. But in terms of the consciousness being stuck in those chakra systems based off of the matrix, basically, or experiences that unify a simulation that creates another one. That's a whole different discussion. But a lot of you guys are able to not succumb, I guess, to these limitational vibrations in a way that you can think outside the box. You're not thinking with a logic that is based on you from generational traumatizing experiences that came before you, that generate itself on a collective consciousness level. So what I'm saying is you can think outside the firmament or you can think outside the box. A lot of you guys may scare people with your open mind or free mind or the way that you can think. That is something that is the most powerful tool. A lot of you guys are fighting with limitations from, let's get back into that, with certain, let's say, family systems or envious, jealous people are trying to sacrifice you or do, you know, weird things to you, or somebody that created beef with you that really just created problems out of nowhere, or somebody trying to sabotage you out of some type of whatever. That usually is not that person. It's usually a systematic influence to bring you back down. A lot of great teachers or philosophers teach these concepts when you're trying to reach a state of peace in your reality amidst chaos. there is an understanding of the law of detachment, and I'm going to get into that a little bit. When you understand the factual basis on the spiritual level, what's happening in your reality, as soon as you ascend up, and there's something that's trying to balance it out by descending you down, you understand that there's no emotional attachment to the subject of that matter. It's really something about the systematic equation that is trying to test you over and over. Is this the vibration that you're really green lighting? Is this what you're really standing in? Are you really in that vibration? Because when you really get to that peak vibration of unification, of course the balance is that everything is going to try to center itself around breaking it down. That is the balance of duality. It's the balance of as above, so below. Because there has to be something that's equalizing some type of resistance or a balance from another. So basically like a yin yang, right? If that's making sense. A lot of times you guys are moving in love and light or healing, but you got to go and defend yourself. It's a duality, because you can't just sit in love and light unprotected, right? You'll just get taken from. I've learned this lesson for probably the last few years. And so there's a balance in that equation. So if you're looking to ascend just straight up, there also has to be a version of you that's willing to work down. The lower and higher selves of ourselves are very significant. A lot of you guys understand these bases of like looking at it, whether you look at it or see it or depict it as a higher, lower. Whatever that depiction is for you, is something that is this coinciding balance in between the duality that you represent. And when I say duality, it's not a polarity duality. Well, that is true, but like it's not a realm duality. It's more so a duality of your inner balance of the masculine and feminine, right? So there's a shadow and light aspect that a lot of you guys are targeted for in certain aspects. A lot of you guys may be targeting your shadow if you're very love and light and pure, right? A lot of you guys may be shadow workers or people that are working up from an opposite side and working up to God. And so your shadow may be in the light, right? There's always a balance, but all this is what keeps you into a firmament hold to kind of place you in a box, right? There's always a coinciding balance to everything. But when you're able, a lot of you guys have adaptive abilities and are able to move through realms in a way that you understand the mastery of your own subject. So what does that mean? The mastery of your own subject is understanding your lows and highs to where that you're catching awareness for when it comes up or when it reflects back to you. And so a lot of you guys can peek beyond these things, and let's get back into the initial subject. I wanted to explain that first. A lot of you guys have people that watch you because of these reasons. A lot of you guys resonated with my message. If you're new here, go check out. There's a message of me talking about a government watch message. A lot of you guys may have been on government watch, may be on government watch for a reason outside your understanding, or maybe spiritually you can assume the understanding of why. And so when you're kind of watched by beings that are supposed to be high or considered as such, they're people that are gatekeepers that are trying to withhold your vibration from peeking outside what it can do or what he or she can do. And so when you really get to this point, a lot of you guys deal with these issues and may have a fear-mongering understanding of who's watching you or what's watching you based on the creepiness or ominousness, right? A lot of you guys have been watched by your own family members that are implanted by whatever, right? When I say that, it can vary from police, it can vary from whoever is in a whatever hierarchy. A lot of you guys understand that things are connected on a level that people can watch you through other people. And so that's an understanding that a lot of you guys have, because a lot of people start moving same spirit, different person. That's the explanation. But a lot of you guys have beings of higher or in higher places doing wicked things or doing good things. A lot of you guys may have protection from higher places. Shout out to the subscriber that, you had somebody working, I think his parents were working for the Secret Service for a long time. Like during the Barack era, he was connected to the White House people. And so he's one of my subscribers. But shout out to you if you're still watching me. But that's interesting because maybe, you know, a lot of you guys come from different angles in terms of being protected or maybe watched and ostracized by certain beings. A lot of you guys really understand who you are and understand that you get sabotaged for these very purposes. There's something about God's message, you know what I mean, in terms of God's final word that comes in on these types of situations is not usually as pretty as people are anticipating. There's a system that is crumbling from these type of watcher energies, right? In terms of why certain beings are going to start being isolated, watched, or heavily detained or attempted to be because of certain statures that are not limiting people anymore. That's why I spoke on the firmament, because when you have a collective consciousness waking up to this point, there's nothing that you can really do to stop the hold that you may have had before. It could be for centuries, it could be for decades, it could be for thousands of years. But when people are actually getting to this collective consciousness point of awareness, there's a certainty that illuminates the reallocation of energy that now serves in reality, which is why the world is up looking for answers. Everybody's looking for answers in some way, right? Everybody's speculating somebody. Everybody's questioning somebody's motives and intentions right now because that's where the world's at. The world wants understanding. And so a lot of you guys are the ones that understand a little more. And a lot of you guys are my sightseers. A lot of you guys seek beyond whatever is known to be logically to be sought. A lot of you guys understand information that could be passed down to you, could be something you witnessed, experienced, inherited, or something that you came across from somebody else, right? A lot of you guys have watched or are being spectated from certain beings that want to sabotage what you do. A lot of you guys have been in industry situations or family situations where you're supposed to get an opportunity that gets sent to somebody else and is very purposeful toward you. A lot of these situations happen and derive from a purposing that it's not for you, or God is preserving something else for you. Because a lot of times people are going to try, a lot of you guys with this type of energy, if you're aligning with this message, there's an energy about not accepting certain opportunities, not accepting certain things on the basis of people's control or contractual things that serve something that's a different agenda than God, right? There's a lot of that at that kind of higher place level because none of it is of God. A lot of you guys are witnessed or spectated for the reasons that God is able to watch through you or see through you in corrupt situations. It doesn't have to be elitist groups. It could be family situations, corrupt families, corrupt churches. It could be corrupt government officials. It could be corrupt police. But that's where a lot of you guys are implanted for a reason to kind of call the bullshit out, right? And there's a reason that you have a certain sight seeing. A lot of you guys can see, or my seers, or a lot of you guys have gifts that you can see beyond what normal people see, or you've experienced certain things that are beyond what normal people see. And so these things come into fruition because there's somebody that's coming in, or a lot of you guys are placed in by something that's higher than all of us to be the eyes for somebody to understand a little more in terms of what this corrupt system has come to. And that's my last message is if you need a person with me, hit up shamikasun@gmail.com with a C in Shamika. Besides that, 1333 may be significant. Those numbers are very interesting to me. Could be significant for somebody specifically. But I appreciate your likes, comments, shares, and subscribes. I've got a few partnerships. If you're interested in any of those, they're available in the description. But besides that, I really appreciate you all. It's your boy Justice. I'm finna get started on the next video. Peace out.